Hello beautiful plant people, welcome back to Rooting Mindfully. Today we're going to do another 101 houseplant care and we're going to talk about watering. And the reason I want to talk about watering is because I get so many questions regarding watering plants, when to water plants, how much to water plants, and things like that. So we're going to talk about that today in this video. Alright, so just to let you know, there are several different types of water that you can use on your plants. There's rainwater, which could possibly be the best water that you could use on your plants just because it's being collected from the rain and there's less harmful minerals in the water, but there's still going to be some impurities and things like that, so that way the plant can still take up several nutrients. There's tap water. There is distilled water, which is just water boiled and the steam is collected. That has the least amount of minerals in the water, and that's mainly used for like prayer plants and calatheas that has the foliage that is most susceptible to certain types of water, as well as you can also use filtered water. So I used filtered water in the past, but just with the size of my plant collection, I felt like I was, lugging too much filtered water, with the gallons back and forth. With my plant collection, I was easily using about 9 to 10 gallons every time I watered my plants, and that was kind of on a weekly basis, so it just got to be too much for me. And so now I just use tap water, and my plants seem to do well with just the tap water. But of course, this is going to depend on the kind of plants you have, the area that you live in, if your water is hard or soft. So you just want to look into your water, or you just want to watch your plants as you water them, just to make sure that they're not being affected negatively depending on what kind of water that you decide to use. Alright, so when watering your plants, you just want to make sure that you're using room temperature water. That is really important. Plants don't want to be watered with hot water. They don't want to be watered with cold water. You don't want the hot and cold water to be on the roots, because you could shock the plant and it could either drop a whole bunch of foliage or it could just die completely on you. So you just want to make sure that the water that you use is room temperature water, the same water that they would get in their environment. You want to make sure that you water your plant thoroughly and evenly. And when you water your plant thoroughly and evenly, you try to water the whole surface of the plant. You want to water in a circular motion, so that way you can get all areas of the surface. And you want to just water your plant, let the water drain through, and water it again, and just keep watering your plant until the water goes through the drainage hole, so that way you can make sure that the entire surface as well as the bottom of the water comes through, so that way your plant is watered thoroughly and evenly. And the reason why you want to do this is because your roots will travel where your moisture is. So if you're just watering the surface level of your plant, that is where the roots are going to stay. And with that, you could stunt the growth of your plant. You could make your plant top heavy because the roots won't be able to anchor the plant into the pot, as well as your plant won't grow as much as it could, because when your plants are watered thoroughly, the roots will travel to the bottom of the pot, and it will even poke out through the drainage hole to let you know that the plant is needing to be bumped up to a higher pot size. And if you're not watering your plant thoroughly, then the roots won't travel through the drainage hole into the bottom of the pot to let you know that that plant needs to be put in a bigger size. So that is why you want to make sure you water thoroughly and evenly. And with that, you also want to make sure that your pots have a drainage hole. So having a drainage hole is very important. It helps you not to overwater your plant, and it will allow that extra moisture and the extra water to travel through, so that way you're not overwatering. And with this, you also want to make sure that any extra water that is sitting in the saucer or any dish that you have the plant in, you want to go ahead and dump that out, because that is another way to make sure your plant won't be overwatered. Because as you know, if you let the pot or the plant sit in that saucer, the plant will wick that moisture back up into the pot through the roots, and that will potentially rot the plant, the roots. It will damage the plant because that plant will still wick up that moisture even if it doesn't need it. So you just want to make sure that you're dumping that extra water when you're going to go ahead and water your plant. Also, when you water your plant, you want to make sure you tailor your watering schedule and your watering method according to the soil medium that you're using and the pot material that you have. So if you're using a more peaty base, you might not want to water your plant as much because the peat does hold on to more moisture. Whereas if you're using more bark, more perlite and things like that, you want to make sure that you're watering your plant more often, because using those materials will allow the plant to dry out more quickly. You just want to tailor your watering needs according to what amendments you have in the soil, as well as depending on the pot that you use. So if you're using like ceramic, you want to make sure that you're watering your plants less, while if you're using terracotta or plastic, you might want to water your plants more, because with the terracotta pots, it does wick and absorb some of that moisture that is going to be in the plant. So with terracotta, you might have to water your plants more. So just take a note that depending on what kind of soil medium or the pot material, you might have to water your plants more or less. Another thing that I like to do with some of my plants in my collection, especially the ones that I have to water quite often, like with my ferns or my anthuriums, is I will take them to the sink and I will completely soak and drench the pot, because with watering these plants more often, I just want to go ahead and soak them to make sure that they stay more moist longer, so that way I don't have to water them as often. But I'll just take them to the sink and I'll flush the pot. I'll let the water drain through, turn on the water, let it go to the surface again and let it drain through, and I'll completely soak the pot, and then I'll wait till it dries out again. But I like to do that with plants that are really thirsty, so that way it can lessen the amount of times that I have to water that plant for the week. And with watering your plants, you also want to use or try to incorporate different tools and methods. I like to use a moisture meter. I always recommend using a moisture meter. It will save your plant and it will save you grief. The moisture meter will let you know when it's time to go ahead and water your plant. It'll tell you if the plant is dry, which is at a 0 to about a 3. If the plant is moist, was about a 4 to a 6. And if it's wet, it's a 6 to an 8. So depending on the kind of plants you have, you just want to make sure that you're using a moisture meter, so that way you know when it's time to water your plant. And with the moisture meter, I like to go ahead and poke 3 different spots in my plant soil, just so I know that 3 different places, because if you're not watering your plants evenly, they might give you different readings. So one place is a 0, another place is a 4, and another place is a 6. I wouldn't go ahead and water that plant. So depending on how many places I poked, and if they're all reading about the same, which would be about a 0 or a 1, then I would go ahead and water that plant. So I do like to poke 3 different locations, so that way I'm making sure that my plant is really dry, and that way I really need to water it. Another thing that you could do is either use a chopstick or a finger if you want to use something different, or if you don't want to buy a moisture meter. You could just simply stick your finger in the soil, and if your finger comes out dry, it's time to water your plant. So I would do this one, like with the moisture meter, I would just stick my finger in different places just to make sure that it's all the same, and my finger's still coming out dry. So I'm going to go ahead and water this plant. Also, if you're using a moisture meter or a finger or a chopstick, you want to make sure that you're not poking too close to the root ball. You want to make sure that you're not going to damage the roots of the plant. So if you just take the middle of the distance of the pot between the root ball and the edge, I would just go right in the middle. That way you're not going to go ahead and damage your plant, as well as if you're going too far away from the root ball, then that might not be an accurate reading. So I like to go in between the root ball and the edge of the pot, and I just stick my finger or the moisture meter in the middle, and that will give you the most accurate reading, as well as it won't damage the plant. All right, so some things to look for when watering and looking at your plants is you want to make sure that your soil is not compacted. If your soil is compacted, then you're not allowing the roots to get any oxygen, as well as when you water the plant, it won't water evenly and thoroughly to the bottom of the pot. So some things to go ahead and fix this is just to go ahead and change the soil out, give it completely new soil. Or you can also go ahead and aerate it with a chopstick, or you can actually use the tip of your moisture meter and just lightly just go ahead and aerate it and ruffle it up just a little bit. So that way you can provide more oxygen to the roots, so that way your roots will be nice and healthy, and that way the water can pass through nicely as well. Another thing you want to look for is if your soil is being pulled away from the edges of your pot. If you let the soil pull too much from the edge of the pot, you could possibly kill parts of your plant off. So if you notice that parts of your plant are shriveled up while the other parts are healthy, that could be a sign that you let the plant go too far without water, or you underwatered your plant. So you want to make sure you don't let the soil go too far with the soil pulling from the edge of the pot. You also want to look for browning tips. This is mainly for like calatheas and prayer plants. This will let you know if they like the kind of water that you're giving them. Again, you might have to move to distilled or filtered water, just so that way you don't get the browning on the edge of your plants. You also want to look for yellowing leaves. With yellowing leaves, that's a good indicator that you're overwatering your pot. Maybe you didn't dump the extra water that was in your saucer, or you're just watering your plant too often, but an indication that would be yellow leaves. So that's something you want to look for. You also want to look for brown leaves. So if you're getting a lot of brown leaves, you could be possibly underwatering your plant, and you're just starving the plant of water and nutrients. So you want to make sure that you're not going too far with underwatering your plant as well. So underwatering can also do as much harm as overwatering. So you just want to make sure you kind of stay in the middle. And again, use your finger, chopstick, or moisture meter. So that way you're making sure that you're keeping your plant at a level that it loves. And the last thing you want to look for is limp or curled foliage. So if you have limp or curled foliage, that's another indicator that you need to go ahead and water your plant, and that you may have gone a little bit too far. But if that's something that you need as an indicator of seeing if your plant needs water, then you could use it, but just know that you may be doing some harm to your plant. But that would be another red flag and let you know that it's time to water that plant. All right, so I hope that was helpful, giving you some tips about what kind of water to use. Just make sure that, depending on the area that you live in, or your climate, or the temperature of your home and the humidity, your watering schedule could be different from someone else. So you just want to make sure you use certain tools like the moisture meter to go ahead and let you know when it's time to water your plant. Like I said, the most important thing is to water thoroughly or evenly, so that way you can develop healthy roots, which will give you healthy foliage. But if you guys have any other questions, you can leave them in the comment section below. I will also go ahead and pin another subscriber comment. But I just want to thank you guys so much for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. But I just want to ask you guys to please subscribe and like my videos and hit the notification bell, so that way you know every time I go ahead and upload another video. And we will see you in the next one. Bye.